Liam and Weed are here again. This time we're teaching you how to write a story from start to finish. You're going to learn everything there is to know about fiction and fantasy writing and maybe some real world writing as well for journalism and shit.
We're going to teach you about writing tips today. There's a lot of things that go into writing, such as words and grammar. The most important thing is that you have fun doing the writing of the things when you do the words. And when you have the words and you put them in order that people do to have them, you might have them and then you do it. And then it's words. And then you've written some. Congratulations. You passed our course.
Weed, I've made an important discovery. It's a plot hole. Now you're wondering again why we're in the park today, as we usually are. Today we're here because Henry David Thoreau wrote Walden, which is the story about nature, where he went to the pond, he made a house by the pond where he took a shit. He went in nature to write that, and so we're taking inspiration from him today, which is why we're here at the Nature Preserve. But you shouldn't worry too much about story ideas when you're writing a story, because the most important thing is that it goes into a book. If you put it in a book and the book goes in the store, then anyone will fucking buy it and read it.
You took a shit in a pond?
Yeah.
Do you think we could do that? What's the guy who wrote The Shape of Water? Aquaman?
Yeah.
That was kind of hot. When it comes to world building, it has to be a thing. Number one, there's 3 things you need to remember. It has to be a system, like cement. And number 3, it has to have some form of gladiator combat in it. All of the best stories have gladiators in it. Dante's Inferno, the Bible, tennis ball. George W. Tolkien only wrote one good book, and it's because it's got gladiators in it. I've studied his work extensively as a bookologist.
Oh my god, with luck. Weed is standing on the bridge. We're here on the bridge. Sometimes he can't hear us because there's wind here. And that's not a problem when you write a book because the words are on the page and it's not on the sound system, which is getting fucked up by the wind. But that doesn't happen on writing because writing doesn't get fucked up by the wind. The only thing to watch out for there is a sandstorm. That's the only thing that'll fuck you up with the writing words on the page, because if they're in the book, then people can read them and it's okay.
Don't write in a sandstorm. You'll get sand in your paper.
Here's a casualty of people who don't read. Look at what happened to this poor guy in the pond. He didn't read our book that's coming out next month called Liam and Weed, a memoir of interminability.
What if he just died because he didn't read?
He didn't read the warning sign that said don't go in the toxic sludge.
He didn't read at all.
Yeah.
He never read a single word.
That's also a cause of death. Sometimes it happens to people.
Wasn't that the plot of Fahrenheit 451?
And the sequel, Fahrenheit 452.
This time, it's 1 degree hotter. I want to talk about one of my favorite authors, Jane Austen. She wrote stories with words in them, and there was also people. There are names in Portugal, and people from Portugal have also written books. When you're writing, it's really important to do research about the subject that you're writing about. For example, when we were writing our famous self-biography, Everyone Has a Podcast Except You, we made a podcast. You know anything about writing?
Nope.
When you're getting ready to write, it's really important to limber up all of those different muscles. You've got your leg muscles for when you walk away from your writing station every 2 minutes because you can't think of words to write. You've got to limber up your fingers where you'll type or you'll write with a pen or a pencil or a crayon, or you'll just hit yourself in the face because you can't think of anything to write. You've got to limber up your eyeballs so you're going to clench shut because you can't think of anything to write ever, and it's so frustrating. And you've been trying to write this story for like 4 months. You wrote 42 chapters in 2 months. It was amazing, but you were unemployed at the time. Now you just want them to kiss, but it's been 4 months and you've lost track of the story and you're just heartbroken. Just snakes.
I like to write with a melting piece of chocolate.
Don't forget to limber up your toes.
A really good tip is that verbs are annoying words, and you should try not to use verbs in your writing too much because they stand out really big to the reader when they try to read your writing. Also nouns.
A lot of writing advice people say that don't overuse the word said, but don't under-overuse them either. You gotta use them in every single sentence. It has to have at least one noun, verb, adverb, punctuation, conjunction.
A good word to use instead of said is expound or expulge. To use those instead of said, they don't stand out so much to the reader when they do your writing.
Expunge.
Explange.
Exponential.
Exponse.
Exploit.
Explead.
Expand.
There's crows in the tree. You can use that as a metaphor when you do a writing, because it can be like it's a murder of crows and I'm gonna murder weed in the water later.
What?
No, it's okay, don't worry about it. Sometimes when Reed goes for a walk, she comes up with ideas for stories. Like she told me a story once about a robin who ate a rock that we saw at both, but then Reed told me the story again later when we were on a walk like this.
I've come up with another story idea. So, premise. Batman. What do you think?
If you take our stories, we'll hit you with a cease and desist letter so fast that your head will fall off.
When you're warming up your brain to do the words of the writing good, and you try and just do the words when you say the words, and you just kind of say words in an order, in any order. Right now we're going to be saying some words as an exercise. You can follow along at home. First thing that comes down into my brain. He stepped closely, slowly down the steps. He steps down the steps of the back cave towards Batman. Large penny. And his dick was out. Exercise. Leave a comment in the comments below of what you came up with in your exercise time, and it'll really hurt our feelings. I'm actually crying right now. It's really
Why would you do something that made Reed cry? God. Fuck off. Stop watching our videos. Fuck you. We hate you. When you do a writing, it's important not to neglect the other parts of your life. Like if your garden has weeds in it, you should still go pull those and eat them because they're so edible for dinner.
You're gonna eat me? What the fuck?
No, weeds.
Oh, cousin.
Okay. It's an important distinction that you would know if this was a writing on a page because you can read that it's a different word.
Here's Liam and Weed's writing prompt. I had a really good poop today. Share in the comments what you wrote about. Well, that's it for our writing advice today. Like, comment, subscribe, and if you like words.
Is there a final piece of writing advice for today? Is to remember that when you read a book, it's important to stay hydrated because when you eat the pages, it's a lot of fiber. And if you're not hydrated, it's really hard to take a shit later.
Go eat some good books and write some good words.
We love you.